Corey Cadby, a story of fierce talent, rapid fame, and a collapse that no one saw coming. This is the rise and fall of the boy from Tasmania who could have ruled the world of darts, but instead turned his back and let it all slip through his fingers. Like every darts genius, Corey Cadby's story started quietly, almost invisibly. Even though he had just a dartboard and a dream, he would eventually dominate top dart stages in the world, because what he lacked in exposure, he made up for with raw talent and fiery precision. Corey wasn't born into the glamour of professional darts. He grew up in Tasmania, far from the lights of Alexandra Palace. But by the time Corey was in his late teens, word had spread in small whispers in Australia about a young gun who threw with fearless aggression, who hit trebles like a man twice his age. In 2016, those whispers turned into a roar. At just 21 years old, Cadby stormed onto the Australian stage like a lightning bolt. Nobody had ever seen anything like it. It was hard for him to find regular competitive darting in that island state of Australia, so he moved to Melbourne in mainland Australia to play on the DPA circuit, which has launched the career of several players like Simon Whitlock and Kyle Anderson. He dominated every match and won 7 DPA Grand Prix titles in his debut season, a record that stunned even the seasoned pros and caught the eye of international promoters. Then came the moment that truly announced him to the world. Corey won the WDF Australian Grand Masters, which meant that he qualified for the 2 PDC Australian World Series events. The first of these 2 was the Sydney Masters, where he made his televised debut. But things got even more intense. In Sydney, Cadby was drawn against none other than the great Phil Taylor. Then something insane happened. During the match, he mismatched darts to make it 3-all in the game. He eventually lost, but it was a respectable 6-3 loss. Though he was pleased with his 98 average on his TV debut, Corey didn't just take it as a learning moment, he took it as a challenge. A week later, he was drawn against Taylor again in the Perth tournament, and this time, he dismantled Taylor 6-2. Corey did not just beat him, he crushed him.
74 is only going to get 1 dart at double, and that's double top to keep him in the Perth Masters, and that's low. That was a dodgy dart. Bigger. Corey Cadby causes the biggest upset in the history of the World Series. He has taken out Phil Taylor.
With this amazing feat, Cadby became the first player to beat Phil Taylor in Australia. Despite the fact that Taylor averaged 111, the Aussie genius had arrived, and he wasn't done yet. Later that same year, he flew to England and entered the World Youth Championship. Nobody knew what to expect from the brash Aussie, but Corey blew past every obstacle and marched into the final. Under the pressure of lights and cameras, he barely flinched, taking the title from Barry Van Peer with a ruthless 6-2 win and an average of 98.
It was a good experience, and unfortunately I lost in the second game, but yeah.
You made your mark, of course, famously by beating Phil Taylor in the World Series. How often do you think about that game now?
It's just another game at the end of the day. Still a big game that I've won, but I'll move on to the next.
Yeah, absolutely. And Barry, your next game is against this guy. I mean, how much do you know about his game and what are you expecting?
Well, I watched him play Phil Taylor, so that's what I know about him.
From down under to top of the youth world, all in one breath. The darts world now had a new prince, and his name was Corey Cadby. But what made him different wasn't just his game, it was his attitude. Every time he walked on stage, he brought a boldness that couldn't be ignored. His breakout moment came in 2017. On his World Championship debut, he smashed a preliminary round average record, turning heads across the darts world. From there, the buzz only grew. In Auckland, he battled his way to his first televised final, a major milestone, even though he lost to Kyle Anderson. That same fire showed up again at the World Series finals, where he went toe-to-toe with Gerwyn Price, matching his wild celebrations in a dramatic showdown. But it was months later when Corey truly started to shift gears. He tore through Q School, winning 8 straight matches without needing a single deciding leg. What an emphatic way to earn his tour card. Just weeks later, he captured his first PDC title at a UK Open qualifier, defeating the reigning world champion with an average close to 109. Momentum fully behind him, Corey charged into the UK Open proper. He blasted past 5 top-tier opponents to reach the final, where he built an early lead against Gary Anderson before narrowly falling short. Still, it was clear, it was beyond the competition for Corey. He was announcing his arrival. That run lit a fire under the darts world. He landed a deal with Target Darts, and the 2019 Premier League debut quickly followed. His rise wasn't just exciting, it was proof that a new era might be starting, and Corey Cadby was ready to lead it. Following this was a period of silence that would eventually be the beginning of his downfall. Just when he was supposed to be launching himself into global stardom, Cadby flew home to Australia. On the surface, it was personal. He got married, took time away, but underneath, something was brewing, and it would change everything. What followed was one of the strangest vanishing acts in modern darts. Cadby, one of the most exciting players in the world, simply stopped showing up. Fans assumed it was an injury. After all, it was announced he'd suffered a broken arm in a car crash. But weeks later, he was seen dominating local tournaments, throwing with ease. Nothing stays hidden forever, not even Cadby's legal troubles, which turned out to be the real problem all along. Brace up, because the details will send chills down your spine. Cadby had been on a tourist visa, which expired along the line. He found it hard to get a new one because his criminal record from 2015 was staring him right in the face. The record revealed that Cadby had once been wanted by the police for failing to appear in court due to theft and numerous other alleged offences. Cadby was later taken into custody and was forced to stay in Australia for the rest of 2018. While in Australia, he was selected to play in the 3 Oceanic PDC World Series events in the summer. But Cadby was forced to pull out of the Auckland event because he did not have a passport with the visa office. However, he played the other 2 Australian events. He lost the first event to Simon Whitlock in the first round and beat him in the first round of the second. Cadby was knocked out in the following round. However, he attended the finals, this time as a fan. Eventually, the darts star was faced with another controversy that could end his entire career. A photo emerged of him on social media being carried out by the police. His manager released a statement saying that Corey and his family were getting abuse from a small section of fans. He added that Cadby's wife was physically abused, which the police addressed immediately. But it didn't end there. Corey got involved in a brawl with another person after the previous incident, although no punches were thrown by either of them. The police had to intervene quickly, and when they realized he was a darts player, they led him away from the crowd to ease the tension that was slowly escalating. While all this was happening, Corey's wonderful darts achievements on the world stage had almost disappeared into the shadows. Once a king of the field, he had almost become history. One missed event became 2, then 3. He missed the World Grand Prix, the European Tour, the Grand Slam, even the World Championship. Although he participated in local tournaments, the Golden Boy was grounded. For nearly a year, he fought the system, trying to secure paperwork, juggling court appearances, and trying to stay sharp. In that time, he remained dominant at home, and he managed to win 7 of the 9 PDA events he played in, but none of it counted for his PDC ranking. His darts career that was once the highlight in the world of darts became a background whisper. Finally, in March 2019, Corey had a breakthrough. The visa was approved. He got a 3-year sportsman visa, allowing him return to England. He played a few events, even won a development tour title, but something was different. His precision was off. He also revealed that he had suffered from stress and depression during his absence from the PDC. His results were average. His presence on the big stage was not as electrifying as it used to be. He missed tournaments. He failed to make the same impact on the Pro Tour when he returned. In fact, Cadby didn't reach the quarterfinal in any Players' Championship event he played in. However, he did win another Development Tour event, beating Luke Humphries in the final, and qualified for 2 European Tour events. In the first event, he reached the 3rd round by beating Michael Smith 6-5.
To finally wrap up this win. Double top. And the Aussie has done it! Once again he beats Michael Smith!
But after this, he had a big falling out with his manager. Cadby posted a lot of shocking claims about his manager on social media, which he later admitted were false. Following this, he was sent home back to Australia by his manager, a decision Corey says was best for both of them. This meant that he pulled out of all of the Pro Tour events for the rest of the year, but that was not all. Cadby did not appear in the Austrian Darts Championship, which he had qualified for. Surprisingly, Corey's career did not end here. His manager flew over to meet him and they had an agreement. He was once again selected to play in the 3 Oceanic World Series events in the summer. He lost the first and second games to both Gary Anderson and Peter Wright. He was scheduled to fly to New Zealand for the 3rd and final event. But this is where things got bad. Cadby said he hit rock bottom as he felt strong opposition within. He felt that his management and family were turning on him. So, he refused to board the flight to New Zealand. Worse still, he was not answering his phone calls from his manager or the PDC. Overtaken by alcohol, he began to struggle with some mental health issues. The PDC eventually removed him from the event and made a public statement about Cadby withdrawing due to personal reasons. Corey then went missing from the dart circuit and did not appear in any more events for years. But this was not all the force behind Cadby's disappearance. The next mistakes he made and the decisions he took would plunge him deeper into the folds of history. In October 2019, Wyndham Police in Victoria put out a warrant for his arrest for traffic and other related matters. Shockingly, Cadby missed the court date in regards to alleged driving with no license, which he said he did have, though he stated that he attended court after the date he missed. Then came more troubling signs. He had separated from his wife. Cadby himself later admitted to depression, emotional breakdowns, and losing contact with his children. The very things that once motivated him were now pulling him under. By the end of 2019, Cadby had effectively disappeared again, this time not because of paperwork, but because life had beaten him down. Though he announced that he was going to play the World Championship qualifiers in the UK, he never showed up. The whole drama with his divorce and absence from the dart stage had affected his finances, so he auctioned his match-winning dartboard against Phil Taylor in Perth. In early 2020, without fanfare, he gave up his PDC tour card. No announcement, no press release, just silence. The player once predicted to be a world champion had walked away, but something striking happened in May. Cadby released an interview with Phil Bars where he apologized to his managers and many others who he had wronged. He stated that he eventually wanted to return to the PDC. Slowly, the spark was reigniting. Cadby entered Q School again, and the darts world buzzed with anticipation. Many darts fans asked, could the king return? But he did more than return. He dominated game after game. Corey bulldozed through the field once again, averaging well over 100, and won his tour card back. He called it a new beginning, but once again, nothing. Despite having the card, Cadby didn't play a single PDC event in 2023. Not one. No Pro Tours, no Euro Tours, no majors, just radio silence. And by early 2024, the PDC revoked his tour card again due to inactivity. So where does that leave Corey Cadby? He's 30 now and still young, still capable, but darts doesn't wait forever. His story was once one of meteoric rise, but now it's one of wasted potential, of poor choices and missed flights. He had the world at his feet, fans, sponsors, a rare talent, and a game that could have made him a legend. Corey Cadby was supposed to be the future of darts. Instead, he threw it all away. Not because he lacked the skill or because he failed, but because he didn't even give himself the chance to succeed. And he's not alone. Darts has seen its fair share of talent undone by bad decisions, like the case of Mervyn King, a man who made over £2 million playing darts and then lost everything.